Hey guys, I am Game Advisor and welcome back to another Icarus update video. Today we're going to be talking about the week 47 update, but before we jump into that, if you guys ever want to save money on games, make sure to go and check out Humble Bundle via the link down below. It allows you to donate to charity while also saving money on a game at the same time and supporting our channel, so you get all of those benefits with none of the cons. It is a totally safe website, and if you have any questions, do feel free to let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this week is basically just a lot of explanation about why they made open world the way they did and the new open world mode that has now been implemented. This open world mode is pretty cool and all, but if I'm being completely honest with you, it's not that big of a change from what we already had. This is mostly them setting up for future changes they want to add, so let's just talk about what they have. First off, open world mode is going to have a new option to select on the left side of your menu when you're in the game. Basically, this is just going to make it so that you can actually access open world mode without going through the same menus you would in order to access an outpost. Now, as far as what open world mode actually is, I'm just going to use this little diagram they've built as it explains it probably better than I could. Open world mode will not include any timed missions. Open world mode will have the full map. Open world mode will have a persistent world, meaning that anything you build in there will stay. It is important to note that once you get into an open world, you don't actually have to take the escape pod to leave unless you just simply want to keep respawning in to bring in more exotics. This works exactly like how outposts work beforehand, just we don't have respawning resources, but I'm going to go ahead and go over the rest of them anyways. One of the new things open world mode does is allows you to choose a drop zone. This drop zone is basically just, hey, what part of the map do I want to start in? And if I leave and want to come back with more resources, what part of the map do I want that to be at? Keep in mind, you can just hit go back to character select and you will spawn back in the exact same spot you were beforehand. And you are able to go ahead and do regular missions in between going back to that open world where all your stuff persists and you will not have to drop in and out. Again, I just want to emphasize there is no need to actually go back to your drop pod unless you want to bring in more exotics. There is no benefit. You will not lose any exotics while you're on this map. You are totally safe. You are good to go. You can also choose the difficulty for it, which is nice in case you don't want to deal with a bunch of hostile, really aggressive animals. You are not, however, able to mine exotics in open world mode. This is very important because it's going to play into some other stuff we're going to talk about in just a second. You are able, however, to find and kill world bosses. This is nice because it's something we didn't have before that we do now that allows us to basically access every single thing that's in the game without having to play a mission. We also are not going to have any unique blueprints like missions do, meaning like special things to go do some kind of mission that we were getting beforehand. It's really not a big change. It's just, again, the same thing we had before with outposts. We will not have regenerating resources either. This is super important because, once again, that means you have no way to get infinite resources outside of deep ore mining drills, which we can see down here. Deep ore deposits are going to be included in it. That means if you want to farm something that you can't find a deep ore deposit for, you're going to have to explore the map and have to venture out further and further in order to find it. There is also no reduced XP. This means this is going to be the new meta for how to level new characters. You could come in on a character that is level 1 when you've already set up a base and built everything you would need for that character to easily gain levels on a better leveled character that can handle the environment without all that gear. This means you could craft all your tier 4 gear, you could craft any mod you want, you could craft the high-end weapons, high-end ammunition, whatever you want, and then bring in your level 1, have everything ready to go, take them around and start blasting. Following that is that it is technically not considered a safe sandbox mode. I'm pretty sure what they mean here is just that there are hostile animals. Really isn't a big deal. It's, again, the same thing we had in the outpost before, just now the outposts are only the really tiny maps, no longer the big maps. So that's really the only thing that's changing. We are allowed to have mounts in the open world mode. However, they will not be in the tiny maps that are our outposts. We are only able to access them on open world mode. We also have horde mode, which is important because that means that you can still do it, but you won't get exotics for it. You will only get exotics for horde mode whenever you are playing a mission. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. All this really means for the game is that the outpost that we had before that was for Olympus is now also for Styx. So that's a good thing. We can now also access a giant open world mode for the Styx map. open world mode now has world bosses, it does not have regenerating resources, and you will get full XP whenever playing in open world mode. That's pretty much it. I think most people are going to be using open world mode in order to build extremely large builds for creative purposes, and they're also going to be using open world mode to grind XP to level up alts. Again, I don't think this is a big change right now. This is mostly them just trying to set up for their future DLC and some plans they have for that. So until then, it seems like we're basically going to have the same thing we had before, just with bosses, non-regenerating resources, and bonus XP. It is important to note once again that you can create a Styx map, and if you had an outpost on Olympus beforehand, that outpost is now going to be in open world mode. Nothing else has changed with it, it's pretty much just the same thing. Now, they do talk about some more things that they want to do in the future with open world mode, but at the end of the day, it's really nothing that's going to impact us in the next several weeks, if not months. So I'm just going to leave that alone for now until we actually get some confirmation as to exactly what they want to add to open world mode. I will say it does seem like they're making some significant progress on the DLC, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure to go read the future content portion of the additional information at the bottom in the detailed changelog. That's just going to have all your information about the DLC if that's something you're super excited for, and it will get you pumped and ready to go, because guess what, boys? We've got potatoes coming in the DLC. Get excited. I know we've all wanted them for a long time. Huge poggers in the chat. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching, and I want to give a big shout out to our Platinum and Above channel members, which include Caustic FPV, Jonathan S, and Jim Phillips. I'm Game Advisor, and I'll see you next time.